Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Wednesday, January 28th. Big day today. A lot of stuff happening. We got the Fed announcement coming out at 2 o'clock this morning or this afternoon. We have big tech earnings, three of them reporting after the close. We had at least one it's big company reporting ship related, blew out their earnings. Pretty good numbers yesterday. Market is just absolutely on fire. You look at the overnight, it's pretty hot. So I mean, it took me by surprise. There's 2 days now in the overnight. It's not taking off in the early overnight hours. I'm watching. It's like almost tempted to hop on a trade there, but it just had to be careful starting to trade when you're right about to go to bed. It's like no, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to stay up half the night and trade. And no. So it's overnight is always like that. It's very rare that it does that. So it's when it happens, you just kind of pay attention to it. But man, so both ES and Nasdaq way up in the overnight. But news this morning though, we have mortgage apps came out. They are a little bit to the downside this time. About 8% down on the composite. Refinance was down. It's minus 15. Yeah, it's a little bit on the downside on the mortgage app. At 8:30, we get international trade, we get retail and wholesale inventories, and at 10:30, we get a petroleum report, oil report, and then, of course, Fed announcements. I don't think the news this morning, up till the announcement, really is going to do much. But there seems to be some kind of optimism going on there. So ahead of earnings, I hope the earnings doesn't end up throwing cold water on this whole thing and absolutely messing this up. Now, one thing to note, gold is absolutely went nuts. So I'm going to show you this. I'm not going to spend much time on it. But you see this I pulled on the screen here, gold. This is just an F2 on gold. It says track it in the background. So this happened last night. Yesterday's trade late in the session, they popped from 5,100. They popped and they overnight took off and they took it all the way up here to 5,300. So $200 up on gold in the overnight. Go figure, right? So you had to wonder what the heck's going on with that. I mean, I know they're rolling treasuries off their balance sheets and central banks are buying gold or replacing it with gold. Could be an issue for the value of the dollar, though. But there's definitely some realignment going on out there. It's moving from dollar denominated treasuries into physical gold, and it's you can interpret that in a lot of different ways. A few of them not so good, but we will find out. So with gold making a monster move in the overnight. Now the ES, so you can see we had his last 3 days. We started on we were down here on that gap down and retraced pretty good that day. And then we've been moving, grinding this higher. So we are right here making new highs actually. And making new highs on the ES in the overnight. Move out of the middle, very much a possibility, right? So I would say that I'm going to fold this together like this. This has now the makings of a move out of the middle to the upside. We will see if that works or not. They still not quite cleared it. They just kind of probed to the upside, made a new high. And the news, the Fed announcement, what Powell's going to say, the tech earnings, it's just a big question mark. And it seems that someone may be knowing something because this move to the upside, full of optimism like this, it kind of implies that we have some good news coming. Now, if that's not the case, if this is a buy the rumor, sell the fact setup, we may see this thing go absolutely elevator down here in the afternoon, maybe into tomorrow. So everything looks like we got the unicorns flying around everywhere, but some of these stocks are just making new highs and everything is great. But if this is a buy the rumor, sell the fact dynamic, it's exactly what it looks and feels like before they hammer it. So I would just be taking that with a bit of caution. Now, if the news is good and there is no fake out going on here. We may see the market just take another leg higher. This could be another breakout for the market to extend to new highs, really start another little trend to the upside. So we're going to start from the long side. Looking to buy weakness, 7,020s, 7,005s, 7,000s down to the 6990s for rotations back up. I would give it a little bit of room since we are up against these upper areas, but they start backing down below yesterday's day session low, 69 and 90. Then I would be taking off the long bias and going back range bound. Then we're back in this range again. So initially looking to buy weakness, getting short against strength. Not so much. You don't have the 7,040s to lean against, so not much to do with that. So I would do that with a bit of caution. If anything, on the short side, I would just look for the day sessions highs. When they run in and retest the high. If you want to try shorts at that point, that could very well be doable. The only issue there is that chances are you might get run over if they keep going. So if that's the case, just keep your stop tight and then don't make the trade big. You don't want to scale in and make a big trade out of it, since you have nothing to lean against on the upside. They're looking for retest failure trades there for small scalps, and if they start taking out some of these key support areas, especially in the afternoon after we get the news, that's when I would lean in on the short side a lot more. But initially, we're going to stay on the long side, looking to buy weakness and see if they can hold the range, maybe even keep extending this. All right, so that is the starting point. A lot of good vibes going into the trading day. I hope it holds. I hope Powell doesn't say something nutty. The consensus is that's going to be no rate cut, even if a lot of people want it, but I don't think they're going to do that. So that's the consensus. If they do cut, that could be a very positive thing. Also, if Powell comes out and throws cold water on it and says something, something stupid, then it could also be a pretty bad reaction. There's a political aspect to that because he's on his way out, right? And the public spat between him and Trump is pretty obvious. So you never know. I hope that it's not a political thing going on there, but we'll find out in the afternoon when he speaks. Nasdaq, I would say, is in a move out of the middle to the upside right now. You see, this is definitely from this distribution taking out the high. And we are right up here against the high of the all-time highs on the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq ready to make a breakout, and this pop to the upside is also pretty spectacular. I think it's pretty much led by chip and the AI trade. So you have the Nvidias to the upside. You have some of these hyperscalers are on the upside, building the data centers. So the AI trade is the one driving it. I think chip manufacturing and all that stuff is to the upside. So I would start from the long side on the Nasdaq as well. Same exact dynamic. I'll probably take off the long bias if this trade below this 20,040s. That would give it all the way down here to that the BC ledge here on this yesterday's day session. So if they can reverse this overnight pretty quick. If this is a light overnight rally, they can reverse that pretty quick. But if you take out the 26,100s and the 26,030 to 40s, I think we have a problem at that point. So starting off on the long side, looking to buy against weakness, 26,240, 190, the 100s, down to the 26,040s for rotations back up. These two are the key support areas for today, at least to get started. If they come out, bets are off. We are back in this lower range again. This rally, if this rally has legs and they keep going, they take out the highs and extend. I mean, that was going to be a pretty good setup going into the news this afternoon. But this news this afternoon, the Fed announcement, the big tech earnings, man, it feels very much like a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of a setup. It just feels like it. I hope that's not the case. I just hope it's not the case because that would suck. You start off the day like this and then end up a big down day, Either way, tomorrow is also going to be one of those days where they have the time to digest the Fed announcement and the earnings, and we may see a pretty volatile day. So expect at least this afternoon to get pretty volatile, and probably tomorrow. For today, in the early morning hours, going into the news, it doesn't necessarily need to be very volatile. It could be just that they retrace a little bit and go back and forth. But right now, it seems very much like buy the rumor, and they're way up there. I haven't seen any big headlines which drives it, which obviously would make it drive it up like this. But we'll take it, at least for now. But we'll see. We'll know tonight or to this evening, maybe later today, and at the later end of the trading session, and definitely after tomorrow, if this was a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of a setup. All right, so that's the ES and NASDAQ. We're starting from the long side. We know where to change our bias. On the ES, below that 69.90s. On the NASDAQ, it's going to be below the 60, 26, 30 to 40 here. That's going to be the key areas to watch. Now, when you're looking at the bond market, it's not reacting. It's not doing much, so that's a good sign. But I've got a sense that, I mean, this gold trade just feels very much like the dollar is losing some value here, and there's some concerns out there. So big central banks buying gold instead of treasuries is probably not a great sign. But maybe they are wrong, and the gold moving up like this, there's going to be a reckoning on that one. I mean, I would not be surprised if you see a big rundown on gold at one point here, when everyone has been caught on the long side, sitting in long positions. That's when someone's going to start taking profits. So we'll find out. But looking at the bonds right now, we're pretty much range bound. This has been the same analysis every day for a while now. So same story there. Look to buy against the 114.30 to 115s, 114.22 to 23. Looking to get short against the 1510s and the 1518s for 16 to 18 here for rotations back down. So I'm just 2 levels up, 2 levels down. That's about it. And then I'm looking for my regular setups. You know, if I get the setup, nice little bar setup like that, maybe three bars is what I'm looking for, and not extending. Then I potentially hop on a trade or a retest. But as you see on the retest, you can't be super aggressive on the bond. Sometimes you're right. When you get caught, it's no fun at all. So just wait for your setups. If you're trying to trade bonds, it's a very different dynamic. You cannot be aggressively trying to get in and out, because it doesn't move that way. So be prepared if you're going to trade on the bond for 1, maybe 2 trade setups a day if you're lucky, and be prepared to sit in it. The time you get in on the bond trade and it immediately works in your favor and goes and then moves, those are good days. So, but anyway, so I'm staying range bound on the bonds to get started. But back to the ES and NASDAQ, and nice runs in the overnight. Excellent vibes going on this morning. Buy the rumor, sell the fact. Well, buy the rumor, at least, is what is going on right now. We'll see in that sell the fact part develops or not. But there's 2 ways this can go. This could be like a breakout to the upside and leave everyone behind. They want trying to get ready for that short, or it's gonna start coming apart. But I would approach it a little bit conservatively. I would wait for that 69.90 to come out on the ES. I would wait for the 20,030 to 40 to come out on the NASDAQ before I really start leaning in on the short side, making the call that, okay, this is not going well at this point. All right, so there you have it. That's how we get started. Alrighty, guys. Well, good trading. We'll see you back at 11:30, and not expecting too much craziness before 11:30, but afternoon definitely is going to be interesting. Some interesting action ahead. All right, guys. Leave it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 later.